Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. Excuse me. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 16th through the 23rd. And during that time, we have a new moon that comes in on the 17th. And of course, that's a time for a fresh start, new beginnings, good time to learn a new skill or start new work, be it inner or outer work. Or also make new decisions. So keep that in mind. We then have the waxing crescent moon for the rest of the week. And that's a time of heightened senses and a time for us to execute those things that we've just started and to really live up to our expectations and intentions. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Aquarius. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is prosperity lies ahead. Okay, I feel like the Gemini Collective had that card. It might have been last week even. Sometimes I mix up the weeks. It's very hard for me to remember readings. I think that makes me a good tarot reader. So I always tell people that when I do one-on-one readings. I'm like, look, this reading might get a little bit deep, and it's okay because I'm never going to remember what we just talked about. So I had to go back and rewatch one of my videos last week, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, who is talking? Like, I don't even recognize words that are coming out of my mouth or remember saying them. So is that a good thing, bad thing? I don't know. That's just what happens. That has been my observation. So, anyway, Aquarius, my fun weekly reminder this week, I will quit babbling, is that you learn something new. It is a good time with the new moon and the waxing crescent to do that. And I mean, do a deep dive on something. I don't mean learn some little tiny factoid. I mean, really think about, oh, and recently I wanted to know something about this thing and realized I know nothing about it. Well, go find a book on that or a lecture or take a class. It might be that you're learning a new exercise routine or a new recipe. Or if you're like me, this week I'll probably be learning about gardening or a certain plant and how to take care of it because it's that time of year and I'm sticking things into the ground. So I do take the time. I'm actually cultivating a berry bush that has shown up in the wild. Well, okay. I'm gonna babble for a second. I'm laughing because I always on this property that we live on, we've lived here for 20 something. I'm almost 30 years at this point. We've lived here forever. And there were no blackberries when we moved here. And I'm like, I'm really shocked because there were other fruit trees and other things in this yard. Never found blackberries. Well, all of a sudden last year, what pops up right in the middle in a garden in my yard is a little tiny blackberry bush. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I literally manifested a blackberry bush. Well, so now I'm cultivating that and training its vines, and we'll see. There's a lot of blooms on it. We'll see if I have blackberries or if I can keep the birds off of it. Anyway, learn something new. So, all that to say all that. I will quit babbling. Let's get into this reading, Aquarius, May 16th through the 23rd. Prosperity lies ahead. Your present energy. Oh, Six of Cups. I love this card. This is about nostalgia. This is about old friends, friends from your youth, things from your youth, things that are kind of taking you back, and just good feelings and good memories, and that's really what that is kind of a nostalgic feeling. So that's kind of your energy right now is you're feeling a little nostalgic. Your current situation is the Ace of Wands, so you're definitely also cultivating some new passion. If you have a question on your mind, this is a yes to that, whatever that question is for you. It's a yes. It's let the universe show you this new passion, this thing that you really love, that really lights a fire under you and is very exciting for you. And go with it. And it could be even something that's making you feel a little nostalgic as well, which is very nice. I like the combination of those feelings there. What is at the root of your situation? Two of Wands here. So, you're thinking about the future, which is great. You've got passion, nostalgia, and now you're looking ahead. Maybe you're wanting to understand how to incorporate those. I always do this, is to incorporate those feelings of nostalgia, especially where you just feel so good and you're like, how can I find that feeling again? I do that a lot in my own life. It's like, we all know from our past, like these are things that made me feel really good. How did I get there? How did I arrive there? And how can I maybe not completely recreate that, but how can I get to a place in my own life now where I can recreate at least that feeling of it? And that's a good thing and a good thing to think about in your own life. In your recent past, here is the 5 of Wands. So you may have had some sort of debate. Doesn't have to be fighting. It could be just be friendly and good debate that brings up things. It makes you, maybe you are nostalgic. It could be that something happened at work and it was kind of a big debate and it made you think about your family, and how your family would kind of go at it in debates. Or it could be your friend group, same thing. But there's something, and it has sparked some sort of passion or made you feel a little nostalgic. And that's something in your recent past there. What is on your mind this week is the 7 of Pentacles here. So you're kind of waiting on a harvest. You're waiting on things to come in, seeds that you've already planted. And these don't, I know this is a card of Pentacles, but it doesn't have to be material or financial seeds. I've seen this card play out in different ways where it's just you've planted the seeds of friendship and giving, and sometimes you need that to come back, and it does come back to you. And it would be like you helped this friend move and they're now going to help you move, so it's that kind of give and receiving. Sometimes we're harvesting seeds that we planted that aren't material at all. They're not monetary at all. What is just ahead of you this week? King of Cups. So you're also very emotionally stable this week. So I've noticed some signs seem to react to the new moon. I have my big energetic moments during the full moon, but new moon moments, and I think it could be youthful too. That the youth, are you guys are excited about new moons? Excited to start new things. Those of us that are a little bit older, we're like, yeah, I've already done that. I mean, not that there aren't new things in our life, but we're probably a little more choosy about what new things might be in our life. But you're definitely in an emotionally stable place this week, and it could be that there are some new things for you, and just fresh starts that are happening, and you've got this new passion, so that's pretty exciting. What's in your advice position here? Queen of Cups. So, or I'm sorry, Queen of Pentacles. I said cups, but I was looking at the king. Queen of Pentacles. That is in your advice position. So make sure that you're understanding how the material world works, how things with money work. It might be something that you want to take some time to learn. You might not have a good handle on how to just handle your money. And there's definitely resources and books and lectures and things out there. So take the time, say, I want to learn how to do this. I want to be better at this. And, go listen to someone talk about how to handle your money. It's a good thing to learn at any time of life. Of course, I feel like the younger, the better. But at any time, if you have that feeling like, I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to what am I supposed to do? And not everyone has someone to tell them that. I know my kids talk to me about this all the time, that we've really taught them about money and how to be responsible and how to manage things. And a lot of their friends are not in that position. They have no idea. It's like some parents just didn't think to tell them that. So, and my friends and my kids are like, they're baffled that their friends don't know how to do a financial thing, get through a thing. So, and some people don't. Some people just forget to tell their kids some things or teach. So if you feel like, or if it's just a situation that you did not get to learn those things. So again, learn something new this week. And for you, it might be something about Pentacles, about money, that you need to go do a deep dive on and just learn something about. Once you learn it, you got it, you're fine. All right. What is beyond your control this week is the King of Pentacles. I love that because the King of Pentacles knows everything, is really, really good at their suit, completely understands it. It's not, and has the knowledge, and not only how their world is working, but others around them as well. So if that's something that you need to learn, if you feel like the material realm is a space where you just need to learn more and get your hands a little dirty with, go learn something, pick up a book and read it. It could be very good for you in the future. So what is your secret desire? What are you trying to avoid? Page of Wands. Is your secret desire to nurture this new fire that you've got, this new passion? I would imagine so. I doubt if you're trying to avoid that, but some people might be. But ask yourself that question: am I nurturing this new passion, Or am I trying to avoid nurturing that new passion? And however you answer, there's no right or wrong. It's just a big question for you to not only understand the question, but also the way that you might answer it this week. All right, what's in your outcome position? King of Wands. I love, look at all the royalty in this. You've got the King of Cups here, King of Pentacles, King of Wands. It's like you're on top of all of the things this week. You're understanding your passions. You're taking time to understand your money situation and your emotions. So, and maybe those three are all kind of coming together. Oh, of course, I just messed up all my cards here. Maybe those three, maybe all of those are coming together with some new passion that you're working on, right? And it could have come up in this debate. How do you manage and handle these things? And so maybe it's on your mind to think about it again. It's a great week to start new things. Let's say you're going to start saving your money better. Let's start it this week. Save X amount of your paycheck. It goes right to savings. You don't even see it. Let that start to add up over time. You'll be like, wow, look at all this money I have over here. That sort of thing. If you start things, um, don't try to do everything at once when it's a new moon. I think about this like New Year's. Like, here we go with New Year's resolutions, and everyone's like, I have a list of 20 things I'm going to do this year. I'm going to da 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 da. And you turn around a month later and none of those things are happening. Well, I see the new moon as kind of it's a new cycle. And it's like, think if you made a list at the new year, a list of 10 things that you wanted, 10 or 12 things that you wanted to change. Well, now each cycle you get is a time to change one of those things. And that gives you a whole moon cycle to let that become a habit of saving money, a habit of being emotionally stable, and very calm, a habit of nurturing your passions. So, but each new moon, you can kind of pick a thing and say, okay, I'm going to focus on this. This is a big change I want to make in my life. Let me focus on this one just for this cycle. And then it becomes a habit. And then next time you add the new thing. So let's see what's hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck is your ultimate happiness, which is the Sun card, because I feel like you're working at it. You might just be defining those things. And or redefining, even when we go through these stages in our lives, almost in decades where, your 20s are focused on a particular thing. And once you have that down pat, you kind of reassess, and your 30s are focused on a whole different thing. So it could be that you're just at this reassessment point, and that's why you're not really thinking about or kind of bathing in your own happiness right now. You're kind of nostalgic and also nurturing a new passion, but pick one of these things and run with it and just make it a habit for you. So, and your overall card here was prosperity lies ahead. I mean, I think, and I don't think that just means in the pentacle and monetary sense. I think, there is such a thing as emotional prosperity, just being very emotionally balanced and on top of things, passionately prosperous, so that your daily life involves something that you are truly passionate about. All right, let's get into a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Aquarius. And your card is to make better choices. Okay. And in all of these areas. And again, maybe you're not trying to, let's not try to overdo it and try to overhaul each part of your life when it comes to, either the pentacles or the passion or the emotions. Let's make sure, do one thing at a time. Make a better choice this month in the emotional realm. This month, I'm not going to fly off the handle and yell at the person that pulls out in front of me in my car. I'm going to learn how to maintain my, that sort of thing. Next month, you can find another thing to focus on. That's all I'm saying is chip away at these kind of things. But making better choices is definitely a great idea for any of us, right? All right, let's see what you need to do here in the way of self-care. Self-care for Aquarius this week, as they're being prosperous and trying to make a lot of changes, it looks like. Let's calm down, one change at a time. Speak up is the card that you get. If you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. So make sure, especially I'm thinking of this debate card here in your recent past, there could have been some debate, and maybe you weren't fighting for your position, as much as you could have been, but definitely speak up. That's how we make things happen. Or, if this Ace of Wands this is some new relationship, you have to make sure that you do speak up in those situations. It gets harder to if you don't speak up in the moment. And, I'm going to say, let's say that let's say that your significant other makes spinach for dinner and you're like, oh, this is just great. And you eat the spinach and da da da. Well, they're going to make it every time, many times. And there's going to come a time when you have to say, I really don't like spinach. Speak up, be real right at the beginning and say, you know what? Sorry, it's not my favorite thing. Sorry, it's not nothing personal. That's just an example. But you have to speak up when it comes to things like this, or you just kind of get it gets harder to say as you let it go on. So make sure you're speaking up. So Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. I hope there was something in this reading. There's a lot going on with you this week. Again, there's a lot of wands. Did we see every element? We didn't see air in this reading. So there's no air, there's no swords in here. There's no intellectualizing things, or there's no real big communication. So this might be just very internal things that are going on with you this week, and things that you're not communicating to someone else. So anytime there's a hidden element, I'm always very curious as to why that element is hidden for you. So think about that. Are you kind of in your head with these things? Maybe you need to be jotting some down or talking to a friend about them as well. Kind of compare notes. That's fine. You can do that. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. I do hope there was something that you are getting out of this reading that'll be a positive thing in your life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below and let me know. Or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer this for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting the like and subscribe button, it really helps my channel, and I appreciate that so much. So thanks in advance for doing that. And good luck with all of this, Aquarius. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.